Hello guys, it's Theos here, and I am here with the new campaign trail. And today we're actually going to be starting a playlist, which I'm actually kind of excited to play because I just hate winning immensely. Which is why I'm going to go through and play most of the the big third party candidates I can think of. Everything ranging from the Populist Party to the Progressive Party to the Socialist Party to the Reform Party to the Green Party. All of them I'm going to be trying to play as their candidates, which is essentially bashing my head against a brick wall, but that is okay because I still intend to run. I guess I should, if we're also doing third party candidates, I should also run as the Dixiecrats in the 60s, so we'll include those there too. But I figured we would start out with the first major third party runner, in my opinion, who was James Weaver in 1892, running for the Populist Party. So this was during the election between Benjamin Harrison and Grover Cleveland, and we will come back and replay this eventually as Benjamin Harrison, or actually I don't really remember who lost. I think Benjamin Harrison lost because he got in one term and then lost the second. So I think this is the time when he lost the second. So I would play Benjamin Harrison because I want to try and see if I can win with the losers. But yeah, James Weaver came in. He did okay in the West. I've actually pulled up the historical election, where he got 22 electoral votes, mainly out west, and that was like the big populist party's base of support. But yeah, very liberal platform. At this time, there's a big debate over whether or not we should keep our currency tied to the gold standard or if we should replace it with free silver. And the populist stance is that we should end the gold standard and go with free silver. Um, we have a lot of support in the West. If we want to win the presidency, we'll need to contest the South, but that's not likely to get anywhere, honestly, because, it's a third party. So we're actually going to try and win out West heavily, I think. I'll change up my strategy depending on what it is. I think the goal is to deadlock the election, to force concessions. Anyway, what are our vice president options? Um, Okay, so he's from Virginia, which isn't a very contested state, but he is a major from the Civil War, and yeah, he's got pretty good credentials, just not from a contested state. Um, so this James Kyle is a senator and a member of the Populist Party. Uh, he would double down on staunch Western populist. He could help swing the Dakotas towards us, so that's pretty good as well. And then this guy actually isn't a populist. He's a Prohibition Party member. So we would um merge the two candidacies. Honestly, I think that might be what we go with. I mean, this guy's good, especially out west, but I don't see the harm in merging two third parties, so we'll run on that as well. Also, Prohibition could potentially help us in the South, because, the South at this time was very racist and just hated immigrants, and particularly the Irish, and viewed them all as, alcohol addicts. So obviously they want to ban alcohol just to flip the bird to the Irish for some reason. The Southern politics at this time was kind of odd. But already we've got pretty good support out west, and not great support in California, but that's okay. Um, we've currently got 34 uh electoral votes. So can you elaborate on your choice of John Bidwell as your running mate? We could just call him a respectable man who's right for the job. I don't really feel like we get anything out of that. Or we could advocate for prohibition, which I think would probably be our best course of action if we are merging the two parties. So, yeah, we will come out in support of prohibition, which apparently does not trigger any feedback, but okay. That actually lost us some of our votes. Oh well. It does make us more able to contest in the South. Not to a very high extent, but it is something. What will your overall campaign strategy be geographically? Um, Hmm. We can try to move south. I don't really think we've got a chance there. I mean, just looking at the percentages, we're not even close. I think we do need a win out west, which unfortunately is not ideal. Just because, so if we want to deadlock the election, we need to sabotage Grover Cleveland at pretty much every turn, which means in some way, if we want to win, we need to screw up Cleveland. So pushing into the South in that regard would be good, but I don't know how realistic it is for that to succeed, especially with uh Weaver. So I think it might be better to try and get some out west, even if it takes votes from uh Harrison. But hopefully those votes will go to me, so it won't be a net positive for Cleveland. We just need to sabotage him whenever we get the chance. But I think our main idea is we just need to secure victory out west. Safe strategy, many think it lacks ambition. Well, that's too bad. We're a third party. I don't have ambition. Gold standard's a big issue in the selection cycle. What are your thoughts on this? Um, we're not gonna call the free silver movement radical. The Populist Party is the free silver movement. So, um, sorry if my voice sounds off or I just pause randomly. I'm still getting over a little bit of congestion, so I'm not feeling the greatest, but still want to make this video because I finally have time. So, we're not going to stand up for the gold standard. Let's talk about the coinage of free silver. That's the most liberal option, which is very populist. Rallies up the voters for you. Cool. Ooh, wow, that really did rally up the voters. Alright. Does seem like did I say Cleaver? I meant to say Cleveland. I mixed Cleveland and Weaver together. Oops. Tariffs this election are a hot topic. What are your opinions on tariffs? Um, Tariff support, 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 moderate. Okay, so at the time, Harrison had incredibly high tariffs, which were very unpopular. So, but, um, I don't know though. A lot of our base does seem to support it, so, hmm. I don't know, there's not really a good option. Because I don't want to be taking Harrison voters. I want to be dragging Cleveland support. Especially in California, is the state we're most suited to help in. So, yeah. But we also can't come out too far against it, because then we'll just lose our support. So, though, then again, it's a hot topic. We can't really just not acknowledge it. So I guess I'll say oppose free trade. Many current tariffs are too high and should be reduced. It's pretty non-committal. Yeah, I'll take it. It's whatever. What will your speech be as you accept the Populist Party nomination? Um, we can do generic things. That's okay. I don't think it'll do much. We can attack both parties, which is meh. I honestly think we're gonna announce either the two candidates, and obviously to get a deadlock, we're gonna announce Cleveland and Democrats. So there we go. That isn't gonna get us much support, but it is digging into Cleveland support. So I'm happy about that. To what extent will you criticize President Harrison's controversial McKinley tariff? And that's one that made tariffs like ridiculously high. Um, I will say we could attack the tariff here and there, but not too much. Just because I really don't want to dig into him too much. I don't know, he is finally winning in California, and I don't really want to screw that up. I actually might just refrain from attacks and focus on the trade policy instead. Yeah. I'll take it, honestly. Um, can you clarify your stance on voting rights? Uh, hmm. We could say that they're important, but not as important, and we can pass some legislation in the second term. We could say that we're a big supporter of voting rights. I do think, since we're the most liberal party, maybe it's okay to say that. Yeah, it looks like our base is all somewhat supports. Um, yeah. Why not? We're the Populist Party, we're pretty liberal, let's just say we support voting rights. Though I do kind of worry about that digging into Harrison's support, but that's okay. Yeah, it's alright. It only really is taking his support out west, so I'm okay with that. Labor strikes at Coeur d'Alene mines in Idaho have erupted into gunfire and casualties, with the governor declaring martial law. How do you respond to this? Um, hmm. We could say that tariffs had no bearing on the issue. That doesn't really get us anywhere, I don't think. Yeah. I think we should just wish Idaho the best. Ooh. Man, maybe I should have come out with some support of that. Your wife has offered to campaign with you in the South. Do you accept? Um, honestly, I think it would be better to campaign in the West. We're not getting anywhere in the South. So, yeah. To the West we go. Not to mention the West would probably be a little bit more women friendly than, the very conservative South. I mean, if I'm correct, I believe Wyoming was one of, if not the first state to pass women's voting legislation, so they'd probably view a female running, like helping her husband run in politics more favorably than the South. So, yes, to the West we go. Did that help? Yes, it did. I was actually correct on that. Alright, to what extent will you criticize Harrison's government spending? So odd thing about this at this time, I'm pretty sure at this time the Republicans were actually more in favor of government spending and the Democrats were actually opposed to it. There's that infamous little like almost like a party stance swap between the Republicans and Democrats later on. So yeah, this I think is back whenever the Republicans still favored government spending. Um oh, we could call him the $1 billion Congress, which is a nickname they had. Um Honestly, I don't really want to attack Harrison too much. We'll refrain from the attacks. Cause yeah, I don't want Cleveland getting California. So yeah, we'll just refrain from attacks. And then again, actually, we'll actually attack it a little bit, but emphasize the credentials. Maybe we'll drag some Cleveland supporters with that. Yes, we actually did. Not to mention we drag supporters from him in the other Western countries. Not countries, states, sorry. My bad. But yeah. We've also drawn some support in the other Western states, so I'm happy to see that. Alright, besides the race issue, what other voting reforms would you support? Direct election of senators, perhaps a few things to reduce voter suppression, but nothing much. Um, we're pretty, bleh. Oh my gosh, we're pretty liberal. Sorry, I cannot speak English. I think we can go sweeping reforms. Why not? Hey, this was what the Populist Party was looking for. I'm actually kind of happy to see that. Okay. Uh, Steel mill strikes in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania over wages have turned to gunfire with martial law being declared. What do you say about this? We'll wish them well. We're not gonna attack Harrison again. Ooh. Cleveland is pulling ahead in California. That is not good. Okay, Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890 prohibits the artificial raising of prices, among other things that reduce the power of monopolies. What are your thoughts? Uh, we actually like this, so we're gonna say it's a great start, but would like to see even more legislation passed, because, you know, populist, liberal, support trust busting. So yeah, we will push for more of that. Many are optimistic about this act, and this is a good answer for a populist candidate. Alright, the issue of labor unions has not come up much this election. Do you want to make any comments on it? Yes. Yes, I do. I want to express my support. We might actually be able to pull some Cleveland supporters from in the Midwest if we come out in support of unions. So yeah, we'll back them. Other candidates refuse to touch this talking point with a 10-foot pole. It is debated whether your pro-labor stance helps you in this environment. Maybe? No. Yeah, that's kind of rough. Okay. What are your thoughts on the possibility of expanding the country or adding more states? For example, the Utah territory. Uh, I support adding our territories as new states to the Union. I'd be cautious in regards to expanding our borders. I think that's a pretty good stance. Okay. Despite your rising popularity among rural farmers, you are very unpopular among city dwellers and factory workers. What can you say to them to boost your popularity? Um, okay, because I do want to pull voters from Cleveland out here. So let's see what we got. We can say that free silver will help them, but that argument is based on, oh, well, it will help the farmers, and I don't think they'll bite. Uh, well, we don't oppose temperance. We're running the prohibition candidate for vice, so that one isn't big. Um, let's say that we have other stances other than free silver. Uh, yeah. Advisors like your attempt to appeal to moderates, but the statement was very vague. Well, he didn't give me anything more specific. Okay, but it does seem like Harrison is somewhat clawing back in the Midwest. Alright. How will you proceed with your campaign in regards to the two main parties? Looks like Cleveland's in the lead. We must focus attacks on him. Absolutely. Your attacks are making their way through the news cycle, but you are also going to have to take decisive policy positions that would draw from his potential voters. Well, I'm trying. Another day on the campaign trail. What will you talk about? Speak about how Cleveland's free trade policies and other policies have failed and will fail again. I think that's actually the best one. It's an attack on Cleveland and it's in support of tariffs. So yeah, that actually gets us the best of both worlds. Yep. Okay. Whoa. Why did it get darker? Huh. Don't know what that's all about. How do you feel about nationalizing the railroad system? Uh, yeah, we'll support this proposal. That would be the liberal course of action, and as I've said multiple times, Populist Party, very, very liberal. So yeah, we'll say that the railroad should be nationalized. Not to mention, I think it's a pretty popular stance out west. Your liberal base is very pleased, but the stance is unpopular almost everywhere else. That's okay. I'm not trying to win any states outside of these, and maybe if I'm lucky, Washington. Really, I'm just trying to attack Cleveland. Okay, news broke that President Harrison's wife has died. How do you respond to this? Uh, I'll stop campaigning. I'm not going to gamble by continuing campaign visits. Yep, both other candidates have done the same. Alright. Do you support the growing movement for the prohibition of alcohol? Absolutely, it's what our vice president is. So, yes, I support prohibition. Prohibition is not a big issue in this election, but it is hard to take a definitive stance without losing the support of certain groups. And, oh my, how did that happen? Okay. Oh yeah, during the Populist National Convention, the Populists and Prohibitionists agreed to merge parties. Can you speak about why? The differences are far smaller than our similarities. We stand united on the most important issues, including prohibition of alcohol. Merging was inevitable. Yeah, we'll just say that we support prohibition. We're not gonna split the recently merged party. Okay. Cool. I thought that maybe Cleveland got a massive bump because of what I said during the previous round, but it doesn't seem like it. It does seem to be falling a little bit. Alright, what are your thoughts on the proposal of an income tax? Well, gotta come out in support of it. I mean, it is a liberal position, so I'm not gonna throw the party plank. Yeah, support a graduated income tax. Wealthy elite control way too much of this economy. There we go. Okay, and alright, another day on the campaign trail. Another attack on Cleveland. Alright, that did not have as much of an impact in the polls as I was hoping it would. Alright, election day is tomorrow and your campaign funds are almost gone. Where would you like to spend your final dollars? We can try California, Oregon, and Washington. We could also try Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana. Um, hmm. Maybe we can do Oregon and California. Maybe. Hope that goes okay. Yeah. Let's try the West. Maybe a couple more electoral votes. Let's see how it goes. Either way, I think I did better than he did historically. I think I actually won a lot more of the Western states, so I'll consider it a mission successfully failed. That seems fitting, I think. I mean, I didn't accomplish it. I might not have succeeded in deadlocking it, but I did better than historically, so it's something. Not a win. Can't really not call it a loss. I don't know what I'm saying. I think this is just me coping. Maybe. Hopefully I did better than he did historically, otherwise there is no comfort in this election. Also, again, I am really sorry about the English. It is very hard to talk. Alright. Ooh. Uh, hmm. Okay, we lost. You put in a good effort, but your dream of bringing populism to the White House will not come to fruition in 1892. No one expected a third-party victory, but the loss still hurts. The best you can do is continue to gain momentum, and maybe your party will have a real shot in 1896. Let's see what we had. So 223 to win. Yeah, okay. I don't really think we were... Uh, no, I don't think we had a real shot of influencing the election too much. Yeah. Okay. So we got 34, which is actually more than he got historically. So yeah, we did do better than historical. So I'll call it a win adjacent. Couldn't quite meet the victory conditions, but that's okay. I'm happy with where we got. But anyway, yeah. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. If you didn't, comment down below. I can do better. And I will see you guys in the next video.